We have a little problem. Oh dear. Hello and welcome to What Leigh Makes. It is the 4th of June 2026, so I am a smidge late, about a week late, which is quite normal for me. Summer Stock Camp did start on the 25th of May. It is hosted by the lovely Kayla of the Crazy Sock Lady channel. It is a summer long knit along for all things socks. WIPs are allowed. I think she is pretty flexible with everything. Please check out her channel, which is the Crazy Sock Lady. She is incredible. She's an avid sock knitter. And I love watching her. So I would like to join in. I have a number of sock whips. This is literally everything thrown in a box. There might be a couple. I know that there's definitely one of a pair, but that is from. I don't know if or not I'll ever get around to finishing that. I haven't decided. This is everything that I could find. I feel like there might be more that isn't here, but this is plenty. This is plenty. But I really want to use this sock along to try and blast through some of my sock bits. So they are kind of all thrown into here. I have put June's sock in here. I want to do all my WIP. I want to try and get through some of my WIP. I do cast on a new pair of socks every month, and to be honest, once I'm cast on the new pair, the old pair just get discarded. Like they just get over there. They just get like forgotten. Hence I'm in this position. So I really wanted to film this about 2 weeks ago. And I've been working a lot. I haven't done a podcast for a while. I don't even know if I did one in January, but my last podcast was a while ago, but I'm hoping to come back to it at some point. So I'm just going to go through them. I have been working on them, so I will let you know where I was before summer sock camp started. They have got pictures on Ravelry. I did update all my pictures that needed updating before I think around the start of summer sock camp actually. I'll talk you through them. So in no particular order. This is a pair that I have been working on. This, if I can remember colourways and stuff, I will. If not, everything is linked on my Ravelry will be linked below. I must remember. It is What Leigh Makes on Ravelry. I'll try to remember to link it, and all the information should be there. I have tried to update them. So the first, this looks a bit of a mess, I know. Some of them I've like taken out of project bags and stuff to use project bags, something else. And is it annoying me? Yes, for sure. So the first one is the second sock. So the first sock is done. It does need ends weaving in, but the first sock is done. This is West Yorkshire Spinner's Signature 4-ply in, I think, Sour Apple. And then this is a King Cole zigzag colourway. It was from, I think it's from the range that had Gin Fizz. This is not Gin Fizz because that was like a reddish coloured stripe with green speckly bits. But I think this is from the same range. I think it might be Moorland, but I'm not entirely certain. All of my socks, unless stated otherwise, are 64 stitches. 2x2 rib. They're normally around 17-18 rounds for the rib. The leg is literally just done until I feel like it's long enough. A slip stitch heel, flap and gusset, and then 20.5 centimeters for the foot, and then the toes generally are this sort of style toe. I'm not too sure what it is. but I would like to explore different ones. So I have done, this is one I have been working on. So I was around, all of the socks, unless stated otherwise, are knit on Chalgu lace 2.5 millimeters. I was a few rounds above the heel flap on this until the other day. I feel like these are socks from this year. I want to say March because they're green. That might be wrong. So I've done a few extra rounds to the leg, the heel flap, and I'm just working through the gusset now. I think at my last count I was around 20 stitches on both of these needles, and they need to be 16. So that is one pair. And then the next pair is another pair that I've been working on. These have been a bit of a nightmare. I was at, these are West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply in the Florist collection. And I feel like one of these is Cornflower Blue and the other one is something else. It's really hard to get hold of the Cornflower the Florist collection now because it was old. But I do love how these knit. This is the first sock, and I don't know what happened because these are old. I did have a bit of a nightmare with the ball of wool. I always hand wind. I don't like how the commercial sock yarn comes in those like weird balls, so I always hand wind them into, here's one I made earlier, just hand wind them into a different sort of style ball. I just find those so much easier to knit from. And this is really splitty. I had so many bits from this. I've tried to use those up, but that obviously has meant that I've like had to add in various times. I had to add in on the heel, I think I had to even add in on the gusset as well, somewhere, or just past the gusset. So it's been a bit of a nightmare. I'm hoping I can get the rest. All the little bits have gone, I think. There is one that wasn't very big, so I'm literally just going to use that in my blanket. But yeah, it's all in sort of little balls. This is the first sock that I am on the foot. That is another one. I don't know if I've just said. Before sock week, this had part of the heel flap done. I'm going to say around about half of the heel flap done. So I've done the other half, done all the picking up, the gusset, and I'm now working on the foot. That actually belongs in that bag. As I say, I've literally just chucked it in from my bag. Like, I've obviously had these in bags that I've been using. And then, oh my goodness, this is stressing me out. I have then got, what's in here? Okay, so this is in here. It's not cast on. It isn't part of the sock WIP, but I do think it goes really nice with this contrast. So rather than putting it away and then having to try and remember, I've just literally just stuck that ball of wool in there. But I have this project. I've done one sock. There is no second sock even on the needles. The ends need weaving in. But I've used West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply in really beautiful, like pale blue, aqua colour. I feel like it might be spearmint, but that might be wrong. And then I think this is Tracking sock wool. I don't remember the colourway. I remember I've either used it or I've got it. I think I have knit a pair of socks in it, and it is like baby pink where the blue is. So I imagine it's come from a range because they're very similar. But I've got the blue. These are January socks, I want to say, but I'm not entirely certain which year. I think they're this year's, but who knows. I hadn't updated my Ravelry projects for a long time before the other day. So those are in here. that is, again, I have rewound this wool, so just dislike balls of wool like this. I just think when you try and knit from them, they like bounce around, and if you try and take from the middle, you can then get like yarn bath, and it's just this whole thing. I'd much rather just wind them by hand. So I need to do the second sock for that. I think this is 64 stitches, but it definitely feels a little bit bigger. That might just be the yarn. I will figure it out when I come to knit it. Oh, I have the labels in here, right at the bottom. So that's going back in there, but it isn't a WIP. Whether it becomes a WIP at some point, I pulled it out as a potential for my June socks. But changed my mind. So the cream with the grey and blue is XXL Trekking. It is colourway 702. Very exciting. And then the West Yorkshire Spinners, I think this is the correct ball band because it is in that bag. I'm hoping you can read that. I never know if West Yorkshire Spinners, which number is what. Oh, you can obviously work it out when you look at the colourway and the number, but without doing that, I never know which one of them it is. And then I have a Christmassy pair of socks. This is West Yorkshire Spinners in, I want to say cherry drop. It's like the darker red, the kind of more moody red, and then hollyberry as the main colourway. I feel like this is close-ish to being like the heel flap. Probably needs a little bit more on the leg. But that is sock 1. The cherry drop colourway isn't in there because I have got it in my current cast on. Which I'll discuss now just because it's annoying me. So I have just done an unboxing with Media X Joy bags. So my June socks will be Stylecraft Head Over Heels, Show Your Pride in the Be Bold colourway. And they had 2 colourways from this Pride collection. I don't know if it was last year, it might have been a couple of years ago, but they had like a big stripe and a smaller stripe. So that would be that. I know that there has been some issues with splotches of colour, and I've already seen that there, and I've seen like a dark splotch somewhere else while I've been winding it. So that is wound up ready. I've chosen to do that with the cherry red West Yorkshire Spinners colourway. Because I thought, and you probably can't tell now they're wound, but the red does match pretty well. It's not an exact match, but it's not far off. So that is that. They have been cast on very minimally. I think I've done the cast on one entire, well, I just do the first. So I cast on one needle. I then do an entire 2x2 rib straight across the needle, and then on the next round, which I guess is the third round, then I start joining them. And I think I'm on the joining part, not that you can tell, but that is June's socks. So they were cast on, it's the 4th of June now, I think they were cast on the 2nd of June. So they haven't been on the needles very long, but I want to continue casting on a new pair of socks every month anyway, but just use this as an opportunity, an incentive to try and do a little bit more knitting. So all my needles are in there ready. These are all the Media X Joy bags. Most of my project bags are from Media X Joy. That is a regular. That is a medium. I love the print so much. I just got both colours, both sizes. I then have this pair. This is quite fun. I don't know whether or not this is a cheat, but we're going to say it isn't. This is King Cole Zigzag in Wicked, I think. Before Wicked was 1863. Before Wicked was the green and pink. I thought it was quite sort of Halloween-y. Hope that looks okay. And I've done these at 2 separate times. Can you see the difference? I did 2 different toes. So I'm just debating which one. That would be the one that I did first. That's the one I did second, I believe. They are purely that colour. They were one of the... I did these quite early on in my sock knitting journey. I obviously now prefer to do contrast toes and cuffs. But I do want to unpick and rip back one of the toes and redo it so that they match, I think. But then I might just, do you know what, like it's a bit of fun. I just don't know sensory-wise which one feels better. I feel like this is the one that I do most often now, just because that's the one I've memorised. But I think I prefer the look of that one. So I need to try them on. I need to decide whether or not I want to rip them back, what I want to do with them. So they may or may not have one toe ripped back and re-knit. But I thought that was fun. So, of course, I did 2 different toes. I then have... Oh my goodness. This is a cheat. That's quite a big space that's taken up. This is a blanket project. It's scrap yarn. I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's in here to remind me to knit it. I am trying to knit in a little bit of each. Every time I finish a project, knit in a couple of stripes of it. I am holding it double with West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply in. I want to say it's the milk bottle colourway. I think it's the cream, not the white, because they have... I think it's milk bottle and marshmallow. Again, it'll be on my project page, and I think that's the creamy colour, not the stark white. But yeah, that is not a Sock Week project, but I do want to keep it up to date wherever I can. So if I finish a couple of pairs of socks, I want to add in a couple of stripes. So that doesn't necessarily count as such, but it is in here, so I will discuss it. Just trying to tidy up a bit. So I then have this pair. In fact, I think that tracking pair was January last year, because I think these were January this year. I tend to do blue socks in January for January blues. It is is it a Zobber Ball? Something. Colourway. I don't really like how long the gradients are, because the foot is really dark and the leg is quite light. I like the colours, I just would have rather it be kind of more gradiented kind of throughout. So, I don't know, like a darkish, lightish, darkish, lightish, darkish, lightish, dark, light, dark. But whatever. I have the second balls, that's one sock done, the second sock isn't done. I didn't do any contrast with those. I then have this project bag from the Knitting Goddess, and I absolutely love that. This is King Cole. So this is West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply. Potentially, I want to say blue raspberry. It's that like tealy colour. It's not. It's one of their older collections. It isn't the Ocean or Pacific or whatever, like the newer solids are. Oh, when I say it's blue raspberry, because it sounds like it would be blue, but I remember it being more like a greenish colour. But either way, it's that. And then this is King Cole Zigzag. In 347 trapeze 3471 trapeze from their circus collection. I thought that looked very kind of November-y. I don't know, it just kind of reminds me of like dark nights and quite jewel toned and stuff. I'm on the first sock, so I've still got a long way to go. And then I have just trying to like pick the colours. What's in this one? So this is another bag from Media X Joy. It is cheap with like flowers and thumbprint. This is a opal yarn. Oh my goodness, the label looks like this. I feel like this one's based on this sheet. It's from this range from Opal. And here is the information. I have done contrast in West Yorkshire Spinners, signature 4-ply in Sarasphila, something like that. Is that like really bright, like fuchsia pink? I've done the first sock again, ends deep weaving in. It is one of my least favourite jobs. The pink isn't in here, but it is here because I've used it for something else. I do need to do the second sock. Yeah, this might not be anything. Oh, not really. However, it has got the yarn band. I'll show you this pair next. So I also have this pair on the needles from this wool. Looks like that. And I am doing that with that West Yorkshire Spinner signature 4-ply. Saristhilia, something really like that I can't pronounce. I can never remember what it's called either, which doesn't help. Just bear with me, I am untangling. So that is this pair. I think I did start doing this and then I realised I didn't want to do too much because then I'd obviously finished it before I showed it. But I've done this sock and I'm just on the toe. And then I need to do the second sock. It probably needs to go away. And then let's do this pair next because it's tangled up. This is actually pretty much done. Like literally, that was cast on in May this year. That was my birthday socks for this year. This, I think, was April's socks for this year. And this colourway, oh my goodness, is middle of Lidl. You really should keep your socks in individual project bags because they do get rammed. They do get all tangled. So this is middle of Lidl yarn. These are cast on in April this year. That is the product information. And I have both socks done. I'm just working on the toe for both of them. But again, next month come around. And I didn't bother finishing them because I thought it was a nice easy win for the sock camp. And then that's leftover yarn from that project. And then I don't know if I don't think I've discussed these. And again, a bit of a cheat, bit of an easy win. These were socks from February this year. They are West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply in, I want to say, Sweet Pea. It's kind of it's a pinky lilac. Kind of like a mauvey lilac, maybe, I'd say. It's not quite pink and it's not quite lilac, but it's really pretty. And then I did, I think these are Woolcraft. Don't have a label. I think it's Woolcraft, but don't know what colourway. And then I have one pair done. One sock done, just needs ends weaving in. And the other one, actually, I think is the same. I think it just needs ends weaving in and blocking. And that is the yarn from that, but they're not finished for a reason. I can't remember what it is. Oh, I think that needs tightening. That needs finishing the sewing. But again, I did go through them and think I could just finish that. I could just finish that. But you know what? It's an easy win for the sock camp. So did that, and that is the leftovers. So hope that all makes sense. I have some easy wins and some with a long way to go. But I really do want to try and get some finished. As I say, I don't know if this is all of my socks, but I did want to get through some. Oh, I haven't discussed this. I don't want to put them away because I want to organise them into like what gets done when. So I have this one. These are both Christmas socks. This is King Cole Zigzag in, I want to say colourway is summer. I remember it being really ironic that it looked very Christmassy, but I think the colourway was something quite summer related. And I've done West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply in, I think, Candy Floss to contrast with it, but the cuff isn't as deep as I normally do. I know that these were cast on December 2024 because I was knitting on these while I was training for a job that I started December 2024. That's my current job. So I'm not too sure where the Candy Floss colourway has gone because it's not in this project bag. It will turn up. If not, I've probably got more of it. And that is the King Cole colourway. And then this pair is done on a different size, different sort of needle. They are West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply in, I want to say this one is gingerbread. And this is, I'm not too sure, the solid that came out at the same time as gingerbread. I'll put that up in a minute. To contrast with it. I can't remember what it is, but I'm sure you'll know. These are being knit on. Doesn't tell me the brand, but they are they might be hires. I think Addie might have done something very similar too, but they are like their flexi, kind of not a 9-inch circular, but also not a DPN. It's that kind of flexi cord one. So these would have been done. So that was December last year. So I think these were December the year before. So it's like 2023. I really do need to get my backside into gear. I remember I really enjoyed knitting on these. But as with everything, I think it's time and I don't want to work on Christmas socks when it's not December. But I do really need to get my backside into gear and get them done. But yeah, that's the first sock that's in progress. So I hope that was interesting. I'm going to try and get through as many as I can. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you come back, watch the podcast, see how I go. I'm hoping to film some like update videos for summer sock camp. But again, time, have all these grand plans. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Have a lovely day. Bye.